Every year, Northern Stage in White River Junction brings audiences some of the most beloved theater classics and original productions, captivating more than 200 people at every show. To enhance the experience of staff and performers, the professional theater company has unveiled new housing. We spoke with the managing director at Northern Stage, who tells us the new digs are a commitment to their colleagues and the greater Upper Valley community. We're sitting here in Northern Stage as folks are getting ready, kind of seeing this construction underway. So tell us a little bit about Northern Stage itself, but also what we're kind of seeing unfold in here.
Yeah, Northern Stage is a professional theater company in White River Junction. We have 240-seat theater space. We produce 5 major productions per year with about 150 performances. It's equity actors, it's union actors working with some locals, some students. And so we're getting ready for Come From Away, which will open here at the end of September and run for a month.
Tell us a little bit about that show. What can folks expect?
Come From Away is a beautiful, heartwarming musical with a cast of about 12. It is the story of what happened in Gander, Newfoundland on September 11th, 2001. So it's about the 2001 terror attacks, but it's also mainly about the coming together of people, taking care of people. And it's this beautiful, heartfelt story about a small town, which feels so important today, but also feels so very Vermont.
When it comes to some of the stories that are happening within this space, we talk about Come From Away and kind of that emphasis on how small niche towns kind of come together. How does that kind of translate into what happens in this space when it comes to existing in the White River Junction area?
Yeah, everything at Northern Stage is community focused, and we're not a community theater. We are a professional theater company, but we're so integrated with who we are as the Upper Valley, as White River Junction, as Hartford and the towns beyond, across the river into New Hampshire as well. And so all of our shows feature some local aspect. It's either the people who live and work here at Northern Stage or it's students. And so our next production, Peter and Wendy, will feature a cast of about 20 young people from the Upper Valley who are coming in to be Peter Pan, Wendy, and the Lost Boys. And it's a fully professional production, but it is so community-based.
And when it comes to giving, especially young people, that opportunity to express themselves, obviously, you know, the arts are kind of hard to come by in schools a lot of the time nowadays. And how does it feel to be able to give these professional resources to folks who are simply maybe trying something for the first time, wanting to see if this is something that's for them?
Yeah, that's so important to us here at Northern Stage. We are all about arts education. And so you're right, it is so hard to find that in public schools, in schools anywhere. We offer a major education program called Bridge Up Shakespeare in the Schools, where we send out teaching artists for 8 weeks at a time to educate 4th and 5th graders. And at the end of their 8-week period, they do a Shakespeare production, a 30-minute Shakespeare in the schools, so in Thetford, in Tonbridge, in rural schools really, and then they come here to Northern Stage and they perform on our stage here for their families. It's so valuable and it brings out so much self-confidence, so much energy building in these kids, some of whom felt so reserved beforehand. Yeah. So we really love that.
Definitely brings up the next generation of artists, which is always really exciting. One of the things that Northern Stage has going on this particular summer, you guys launched artist housing. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about kind of where the need for that kind of began, and how that's played a role in everything that kind of happened rather this past summer.
So I will admit I'm the product of someone else's vision, or not the product, the result of someone else's vision. I walked in and this company had already thought ahead to what are we going to need. The reason we need artist housing is just the same as anyone else in Vermont. Workforce housing is impossible to find. But as a professional theater company, our contract with Actors Equity Union means that we have to house people as they come up here to work. And so because they have this guaranteed housing, we have had this as part of our budget for years. And my predecessors thought ahead and said, what would benefit us most is owning our own housing. And so we've built this incredible development just down the street. It is literally a 2-minute walk from the theater. And so these actors come up from New York, from Ohio, from Florida, and they spend anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks here working at Northern Stage. And we house them in this wonderful new housing, and then they walk to work, and it's like the best of Vermont.
For sure.
When it comes to kind of seeing that launch, obviously it started this summer. What was, I guess, the feedback from a lot of the artists that were able to kind of utilize this space? Obviously, they were the first to be able to get in there. So what did you hear from them?
So we started rehearsal for Come From Away, and I walked in with the first actor just to see what does he feel, how does this impact him. And he's an actor who's worked with us several times before, and he walked into that housing and said, "This is unreal. This shows the impact this community feels when artists come work here. This shows how much this community invests in and believes in the work Northern Stage is doing, and it makes us do our best work. It's really a way to show that we care about the artists." It's really strengthened Northern Stage to have this housing asset, and this is something our board really invested in as part of a capital campaign we just wrapped up. It was this belief in housing will lift everything up, not just the art on stage, but also the administrative staff of Northern Stage. So we do offer this housing as a perk, as a sort of subsidized housing for folks who work here full time. And it's really lifted up the entire art and the education program and everything we do, which enables us to serve the Upper Valley and Vermont more broadly.
I wanted to touch on that a little bit with you as well. Just, you know, the overall impact that this has to the overall community. You're bringing more people in, you're able to house them. Obviously, that puts more money back into the local community as well. You know, to be able to be such a staple in the community on your own, just as Northern Stage, but to also have this extra kind of, you know, sprinkle of just greatness that goes into the community. You know, why is that so important, especially in places like the Upper Valley, where we're seeing folks kind of doing that cross-border commute, whether it's from New Hampshire to Vermont or vice versa, to either work, live, play, kind of all encompassed into one?
Yeah, Northern Stage is really lucky to be in the area we're in. This microcosm that is the Upper Valley is a delightful place to live and work. And why? Because of places like Northern Stage, but really because of everything that puts into itself. I mean, it's a great microcosm.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to tell us about when it comes to, I guess, the future of Northern Stage? Obviously, we have so many shows to look forward to. You want to get people here. It's not that far of a drive from places like Montpelier, Waterbury, Burlington. What's next for Northern Stage?
One of the things we do best here and that makes us unique is create new work. And so many regional theaters of our size do Frozen and Beauty and the Beast, and they have great audiences, but it's all things that you might have seen on Broadway. And what we do that no one else really is doing is adapt and create new things. So Peter and Wendy is a brand new adaptation of the Peter Pan story by an artist who's worked here before. And then the end of this season, which I'm most excited about, is a new play. It is an adaptation of an 18th century farce that nobody has heard of. It is called Wonder, A Woman Keeps a Secret. It's by a Dartmouth graduate. She has worked here before. She's having an amazing season, and we are doing the world premiere.
How can folks get involved? What are the best ways to either grab tickets or volunteer even, or anything that you guys may need?
Everything is on our website, northernstage.org. That's the best place to find what's happening, what's going on all year. You can also find us on social media.
Beautiful. Jason, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on NBC5 In Depth with us today.
Thank you, Adrienne.